Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to church. I hope you had a great week. I hope you've been practicing your memory verse. Should we try it together now? Now, this is the last time we're going to do this verse, so get it into your head and in your heart so you can be able to share it with everyone you know. So let's try it together. I'm not even going to give you a reminder. Let's see if you know it. 1, 2, 3. I trust in God's unfailing love forever and ever. Psalms 52:8. Did you remember? I'm really proud of you. Next video, we'll have an all new Bible verse. And we're going to be starting to talk about Christmas. I can hardly wait. But for now, let's pray and then we'll see how Bruno's doing. Did you notice he was sitting next to me? Put your hands together and bow your head. Dear God, thank you so much for another week of church. Thank you for teaching us about your love and your protection for us. We love you so much, God. Amen. All right, let's see what Bruno's up to. I haven't seen him today. I wonder what he's doing in his house. Come on out, Bruno. Let's see. I know he's been kind of in a bad mood. Last week he was kind of in a bad mood. He was trying to hide. Do you remember? Oh, I turned him around a little bit. Hey, Bruno, how are you feeling today? He looks a little bit happier. Hey, Bruno, come on out. Sometimes he has a hard time coming out, though. Hi, Bruno. How are you today? You're happy. We're so glad you're happy. Bruno, what have you been up to? You just finished dinner? Oh, what did you have? Oh, that sounds tasty. String cheese. It's your favorite. Aw, I'm so glad. Does anyone else like string cheese? I know I do. Well, Bruno, did you have any dessert? Oh, sort of. What do you mean, sort of? It's in your heart? You have dessert in your heart? You're not hungry for it. Oh, are you saving it? Oh, well, can we see what you have for dessert? Okay, lift up your chin and I will get it out. Oh, it's kind of big, Bruno. Whew. What do you got in here? Oh, thank you for helping me. Okay. Oh, smells good. All right, let's see. What do you have for dessert? Oh, it's an orange. It's yummy. Oh my goodness. Do you love oranges, Bruno? Who else likes oranges? I certainly do. I even like orange juice. And I love to squeeze them. The oranges in here, I bet this is a juicy one. Smells good. Can I peel it for you? Yeah, I can peel it for you, but are you gonna eat it right now? You're still too full from dinner. Okay, so Bruno, if I peel this orange right now, where would I put it? Back in your heart? Okay, so Bruno, if I peel this orange, it takes off all the protective covering of the inside of the orange where it's juicy. And also if I stick it back into your heart without a peel, it might get furry. I know, you don't want to do that. Okay, so come back and I will peel it when you're ready to eat. But right now, we have to keep the protective skin on this, okay? No, you don't want it to get squished in your heart. Yeah, you'll have an orange juice heart. That would not be good. So Bruno, come back and I will do this when you are ready to eat. We'll keep the protective covering the skin on and we won't peel it until you are ready. Sound good? All right, good, Bruno. Actually, you know what though, Bruno? This orange reminds me of a fun Bible experiment. Can I show it to you now? Okay, come head over and I'll show you how God protects us, kind of like the skin on this orange. Having a relationship with God does protect us because he loves us and so he takes care of his people. Kind of want to show you what it's like. So you know, Bruno had an orange in his heart. Now, we know that when we peel an orange, we take off this layer of protection. Now this orange can get stepped on and the juice will squirt out. It can get fur on it if it's in Bruno's heart, right? And it's unprotected. So once you peel it, you kind of want to eat it right away. Well, when we don't have God's protection around us, when we don't obey him and we don't follow him and we don't have him in our hearts, it can feel a lot like we're sinking. Just like this orange that is peeled. I'm going to put it in the water and watch what happens. See if you can see that. It sank right down to the bottom. It doesn't have any protection over it. But an orange that still has the peel on it can get rolled around a little bit better. If it gets squished, it's not going to be too easy to get the juices out. It's not going to get all hairy if it's in Bruno's heart. And this protection is going to keep it nice and fresh for us. When we have God in our hearts, it also protects us as well. And if there's a problem or something hard that we're facing, we will not sink because God's protection is all around us. So watch what happens when I put the orange with the protective skin into the water. Do you think it's going to sink or float? I kind of already gave you a hint. Look at that. It's floating right on top of the water. Now this one is sinking. It's not moving at all. But this guy, can you see that? He is just happy to be right on top. The orange with no skin, no protection, sank to the bottom. The orange with the skin, God's protection, stayed floating on top. So boys and girls, don't forget about God's love for you. Remember and trust that he is always there and he will always protect you. So here's a story you might be familiar with. It's always good to go back and read stories that we've heard before, though, because God always reveals something different to us each time. The Bible is called a living Bible because it is something that no matter how many times you read it, it's always going to teach you another thing about living. This story is about a man named Daniel. And Daniel was one of God's people who was faithful and trustworthy. And the king noticed this about David too. And he put him in charge of lots of things in the kingdom. He knew he could trust Daniel. Now, just like many people who get put in charge, there's always other people watching who might be jealous. And that is what happened next. The king's other trusted advisors did not like Daniel at all. They did not like all the special treatment that the king was giving him, so they thought of a plan to get rid of him. They knew that Daniel prayed only to one God, the true God, right? We've been talking about that with Elijah and everything else. The one true God, Daniel prayed to him every single time, 3 times a day, every day. And these trusted advisors, you guys, these little sneaky guys over here, told the king a plan. They said, "King, you are so great and amazing. Everyone should be praying to you. And not only that, you should make it a law that if anyone prays to anybody else but you, you could throw them into the lion's den." The king thought this was a pretty cool idea. And so he said yes, and he even made it into a law. Now, a law, we have laws here too, right? And if you break the law, you can get a ticket or go to jail or something will happen. And you can't change the laws. The laws are made and they have to stick. So the king signed the law that anyone who prayed to anybody but him would be thrown into a lion's den. Now think about that. What do lions do? They're hungry. In this den, they kept the lions really hungry, and lions, they don't do it on purpose, but if they're hungry, they'll eat anything that they need to survive, right? Well, Daniel knew about this law, but he also knew he could not go against God. And so even though he knew he could get in trouble, he still prayed to God 3 times a day. Well, that's exactly what those sneaky advisors wanted. And they went and they told the king. And the king was really upset because the king actually really liked Daniel. And he realized he had been tricked. So now he couldn't change the law. He had to throw Daniel into the lion's den. So he took him and he threw him into the lion's den and he said, "Daniel, I hope your God saves you." And they shut the door. They rolled a stone in front of the opening, and Daniel was thrown into the lion's den with all of those hungry lions. But Daniel serves the one true God, and we've been learning about all these miracles and all these big things he's done. And of course, he's going to save Daniel. He sent an angel down into the lion's den, and he closed all the lions' mouths. Well, the next day, the king came running into the lion's den, and he opened up the stone. And he said, "Daniel, did your God save you?" He was really worried. And Daniel said, "Yes, God sent an angel down to close all the mouths of the lions, and I am still safe." The king was so happy. Not only was he so happy that Daniel did not get hurt, but he was amazed. And he made a new law that said everyone had to worship and pray to God only. And his kingdom started serving God. Just another amazing example of God's love, his faithfulness, and what happens to us when we obey him. He protects us and loves us always. Well, I'm sure you can guess that if we're going to talk about Daniel in the lion's den, I'm going to have a really cute lion project for you to make. This one turns out so fun. What you're going to need is an orange piece of paper, a yellow piece of paper, a little bit of a brown piece of paper, or you could even use black, some scissors, a glue stick, and a marker. So what you're going to do here, you probably see I've made 3 different sizes of hearts. A big one, a medium, and a really small one. The way I like to get my hearts equal, you can either download a template on the computer, or I just fold my paper in half, because hearts are symmetrical. That means this side is the same as this side. So if I fold it in half and I cut them both out at the same time, I can get a heart that is symmetrical. Now for some kids, cutting through 2 pieces of paper might be a little bit hard, so it might be better to just go ahead and trace it out. But that is one way to get a perfect heart. So I cut a heart out as big as I could from the piece of paper that I had, from the orange paper. And then from the yellow paper, I did it like 2/3 the size. So it's quite a bit smaller. You can see if I hold it back together. The yellow one is quite a bit smaller. And then I even cut a little brown one even smaller than that. So those are about the sizes that you need. They don't have to be exact, because you'll see as we put it together, it can have a lot of different ways to go. But before I did that, I actually cut all around the heart and made some little fringe. So all you need to do, on the orange one, I did it all the way around. I just did snip, 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 snip. And I did that all the way around. This is the fun part. You just do little snips all the way around. Then you can take your fingers and kind of curl and crunch some of those little snips, because that's going to be the lion's fur, and it's going to look kind of all furry. You can kind of see it. It gives it some good dimension. I also did some snips on the yellow piece, but I only did it on the bottom right here, and you'll see why in just a minute. but I'm still gonna do my fingers and kind of curl it up. Makes it look really fluffy. Now, my orange heart is going to stay the right side, facing like a normal heart would. But the yellow heart, I'm gonna take it and turn it upside down. And I'm gonna glue it to the inside of the orange heart. And actually, if you have folded your paper in half like I did, you can really line it up a lot easier too. So this one gets glued upside down. Right in the middle, the point should be in the middle of your big heart. Okay, so there it is there. So you can kind of see how the fringe makes it look a little bit like a fluffy lion. Then this small heart is also going to be glued upside down, and this is going to be the lion's nose. Okay, so put some glue on that, and we'll flip it over and we will glue it right next to the bottom of the other yellow heart. Now all that's left to add is our eyes. I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to draw little circles at the top. And there you go. Look at our sweet, cute little lion that the angel closed the mouth of so he would not devour Daniel. Hope you had fun. Here is a fun and healthy snack to go along with our story, Daniel in the Lion's Den. We are going to make a little fruit lion. He's actually really cute. What you're going to need is an apple, some oranges. I have our cutie from our little science object lesson that we did with our sink and float, a strawberry, and 2 raisins. What you're going to do is you're going to cut the side off of an apple, and I've done that here already, and then you're also going to cut a little bit of the other side too, and that just makes it so our apple lies flat and doesn't rock back and forth. So put that down on your plate there. Now the orange slices are going to be like the mane around a lion. So we're just going to segment those off. I already pulled a few off of my little cutie here. And we're just going to go around the apple's face, or the lion's face I should say, and make a nice cute little mane going all around. Here we go. Now he needs a face. He's a cute little mane already. So I'm going to use 2 raisins, and I'm going to use a strawberry for a little nose. So you can use whatever you have in your refrigerator to make his face. But here is my little fruit lion head. He's cute. And I think he might be very delicious too. I hope you had fun learning about Daniel today. And actually in the next coming few weeks, we're going to have even more fun because we are going to turn our focus to Christmas. And it's such a wonderful celebration. It's when we talk about the Lord coming down to us so he would be able to save us. It's so exciting. And I have so many fun lessons prepared for it. But what starts today actually is something called Advent, and that is a time of preparation for Christmas. And on Advent, every single Sunday after this until Christmas, we will light a candle. Every candle has a specific meaning. Today we are going to light the prophet's candle. And the prophet's candle represents all the people that came before Jesus and told about him. It's also the candle of hope, because hearing about a Savior being born to save the world gives us a lot of hope. So next week when I see you, we'll light the other candles until we get to this big one. That's the most exciting one. Until then, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, boys and girls.